I want to show you 5 key tax advantages that will help you save more money for yourself and your business. Today we're going to talk about tax advantages, and just so you know, as a disclaimer, I'm not a tax attorney, I'm not an accountant, but as a licensed life insurance broker, there are specific tax vehicles that are in life insurance that I can talk about. So I think it's important to you to understand not so much the tax advantages can help you today, but more about tax advantages that are not known and that also the wealthy use to help you benefit. Why is it important to talk about tax advantages as a business owner? I know for Michelle and I personally, we really didn't have a clue about any of the tax strategies out there. So the goal in this episode is really to shed some light on some of the key advantages you can be using in your business. And it's really important for me to go through some of the ones that we use. So we're going to pick 5 that I think will gain huge value for you. First one we're going to talk about is tax-free retirement income. Now, everyone loves the idea of tax-free. So how can you create tax-free income? Well, we know that there are options in Canada where you can have tax-free income through tax-free savings accounts, it's called. But there are also other vehicles that can be used also to create income tax-free. One of the vehicles that we use and teach our clients to use is using life insurance as a vehicle to create tax-free income in your future. Life insurance is one of the assets on this planet that has tax advantages that other assets and financial vehicles do not have. And one way of creating a tax-free income is to use what's called a corporate preferred retirement solution that one of the insurance carriers use as a term to create a vehicle that allows you to use your money that you build up in your business tax-free for your retirement. Doesn't that sound pretty cool? So the idea here is that there's surplus from your business. Your business is creating income, it has profit. Where are you storing this profit or retained earnings? Typically, most business owners put them into what's called taxable investments. These are savings accounts, these are real estate properties, they could be mutual funds, other assets like gold, silver, other investments. Those are all taxable investments. So later on, when you want to have those dollars for yourself personally, because you're now retired and you perhaps sold your business, you're going to get taxed so much on those dollars, at least minimum 50%. Now, by incorporating a dividend-paying whole life insurance contract in your business that many of our clients come to us for knowledge and training, understanding in, you're able to create an environment of tax-free income by using this solution. Tip number 2 is what's called the double tax trap in the business. So what that means is when a business owner dies, it's called a disposition of the shares, which means that the shares, there's a capital gain on those shares of that business owner who's now deceased. There's tax on the capital gain of those shares. Then when the executor pays out a dividend to the heirs, there is also another tax on that dividend to the heirs. Now, if we incorporate what's called an estate transfer corporately, we're able to actually bypass that double tax system by creating a whole life policy that the wealth is stored in from the company or surplus. Then, when the death does occur, the money is available to pay that capital gain from the life insurance that flows into the company's capital dividend account, it's called, and that ultimately is helping you save on that double tax. Why? Because the life insurance proceeds that go into the capital dividend account can pay a tax-free, remember, tax-free amount to the heirs, which is not taxed. So tip number 3 is when you have a life insurance contract in your company and a death occurs with an owner, the proceeds of the life insurance go into the capital dividend account of that company, and that's what can pay a tax-free dividend out to the heirs, a named beneficiary, a charity. So that's another phenomenal tax advantage that we all want to learn about when we're incorporating these strategies in our business. Tip number 4 is when we have one of these whole life policies in our business, we're now creating a funding solution and an ability to store our retained earnings into this policy to allow us to have tax-free income later, which is a huge savings, as we mentioned earlier. Another neat idea is to actually use the cash surrender values as collateral for a loan. Now, the loan is not taxed because it's a loan, which is a huge advantage. Then if you use those dollars to invest, there's interest on that loan, but the interest could be tax deductible. Or say the business needed some equipment, there's a loan for the equipment, there's interest on the loan, that can also be tax deductible. So that's another great tip to think about on these tax advantages for your business. The fifth and final tip for business owners is to think about the health and dental that's required for your daily life. And another neat idea for small business owners is to create what's called a health and welfare trust. For example, you need to go to the dentist for a cleaning, and obviously there's a cost to that cleaning. So what the health and welfare trust allows you to do is basically you go in for your cleaning and say the cleaning is $100. You pay for that personally out of your personal dollars on your Visa card, for example. And what happens is now, because this trust is set up, your corporation can basically make that claim to the health and welfare trust by paying the $100, a small admin fee, and then what the trust will do is reimburse you back personally, so you have that $100 back into your personal account tax-free. Then the $100 that the company paid for that, plus the fee, is a tax deduction for the business. Now, isn't that great to get tax deductions for the business? You would agree, absolutely. So that's another key tip that you want to remember in terms of what tax advantages are you enjoying in your business. If one or more of these tax advantages caught your attention and you'd like to learn more, hey, click the link below to set up a 30-minute free consult with me so we can spend the time to explore these tax advantages to help you create financial control in your life.